Dysfunctional thing that I occasionally like to call a YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be attempting to show you through the process of me making my Lightning Empress Erza Scarlet cosplay. Just as a disclaimer before you continue watching, I just wanted to say that I am a total beginner. This is basically my first armor set slash cosplay ever. I did one before. It was a My Hero Academia school coat, but I mean that's not really that difficult. This one had sewing, foam armor, painting. This is the first time I've had to go through the process of making patterns and sewing out certain pieces and collecting items, and I'm not using proper materials by any means. I found my foam at a thrift store just by sheer luck, but it has letter cutouts, so that made it really difficult to make big pieces. I do not have a sharp enough box cutter or anything to sharpen it with, so I had to make all my cuts with scissors, and they weren't sharp scissors, so that was not great. Okay, I'm gonna stop knocking my own projects. This is just like not a tutorial. This is me being a beginner trying to make something way out of. To begin the process, we gotta make some patterns for the chest plate. So gotta start with wrapping myself in saran wrap, and I definitely recommend getting some help with this because I'm obviously struggling here. Ooh. I made sure it had a couple of layers so it would still hold its form when I cut it off me. At the time of recording this video, it was probably around 1:30 a.m. and I don't know why duct tape feels the need to make the most unholy screeching noise when you pull it off the roll, but basically wrap yourself in duct tape. Since this is just a frontal chest plate, I didn't really have to worry about leaving space for breathing. I definitely didn't measure because I could not breathe. I started to draw on where I wanted to make my cuts later in the pattern. I don't have footage of me cutting the pattern off of me, but this is it done with all the markings, and it's kind of kept its form, and I cut them both out, and I made the edges look nice just so they'd be perfect when I Oh, I forgot that I put my phone in my mouth. That's what, here's the big box of foam in the hairdryer that I found at a thrift store, showing off my letters because that's going to be a pain in the butt later. Here I've got a pair of black satin gloves, and we also have a big window curtain that I found at a thrift store, and I'm going to use that as my white fabric because it's really flowy and I think it'll work quite well. Here I have some sealant that I'm going to use for the cracks in the foam. I've got a base coat spray, it's just spray paint, I don't have any good materials, and this is spray adhesive. It's for carpet, but I don't have anything better. The most annoying part by far were these stupid letter cutouts, so I have to spray adhesive them into it because that was the only thing strong enough to keep it together when I tried to bend it with heat. Don't even get me started on how painful that was. Since my chest plate is the widest piece, I had to glue 2 of these squares together because, well, I needed more surface area. I have no clue where the footage of me making this pattern went, but this is what it ended up looking like. I pinned it, and I'm gonna attempt to trace it so I can cut it out. Here's the finished cutout of my chest plate. It turned out pretty okay, actually. Now I'm heating the foam up so that I can mold it and shape it, and when it cools, it'll stay in the place that I want it to stay in. Grab my hand, like! Now I'm doing some extra shaping just to give it a little more form. I'm having to seal all these stupid cracks too.
I won't be beaten! We'll just see about that. You and me! Let's go!
Casually watches fairy tale while making armor. Now out of this big curtain that I had, I cut the large draping things she has as like a skirt that isn't a skirt because it's not connected, so they're just like flaps. I don't know, but I cut out 4 for the sides and the back and 1 large one for the front. This is what the finished product ended up looking like after paint and sewing it all together. I couldn't get footage of that because I was having to use 2 hands and I was by myself. So it was a real pain, and I'm sorry for all the missing footage of making these gauntlets and making the shoulder pads. I got distracted and forgot to film the process. These are the black armor pieces with my first coat of paint. I bought myself a nice can of glossy spray paint, and as you can see, it's really bumpy and pretty gross because no real way to smooth it out. By this point now, I'm almost done and I'm just showcasing the destruction that this project brought upon my room. This is my first time actually trying it on, or at least some of the pieces, not all of them. I don't have them all ready to fasten yet. I completely forgot to film myself making this, but I took a curtain rod and I made it into this lightning staff spear sword thing. Turned out pretty good, but I went over to my friend David's house so I could attach lights to it, and so we could work on some of our future cosplays together.
Yo! Okay, time to rip up a shirt.
Check out ours. This is a nice setup you got here. Show them the sword. Show the sword. Pull out the sword. Get the sword. Get the sword. Steal the sword. Steal the sword and run. Stealing the sword and running. I got the sword. I have big sword.
He took it, guys. Darn it. Okay. Tear the wrong way. It's going to tear the wrong way. You listen to me or I will chop you.
The sunlight won't focus.
You look funny, alright?
Ignore my penguin pajamas, but it's got lights. It's got lights. It has lights. I have to paint these pieces here because those are like the support pieces, but they're in the picture, so should be fine. Ta-da! This is full-fledged. Cool, right? Stab, stab. Spinning the weapon. I would love to get hit by something as cool as this. Look at it. I mean, look. Come on. It looks like absolute garbage up close, but you can't tell because my video quality is already garbage. So I just did my first test of the entire thing of armor together. I have gotten a lot further than what this picture shows, but this is what it looks like so far. I broke it. I broke it. So at this point, I'm basically done with everything. I've got the weapon built. I've got all the armor pieces built. I just broke that on accident. I did not glue it correctly. But in the midst of making this video, I did start making another costume, and this is what it looks like. Kind of proud of it. It's villainary from My Hero Academia, but like alternate reality. Pretty cool. Also, I'm getting a new wig. I'm gonna one off Amazon. That's like longer and not from a local Chinese store. That will definitely help because it'll be longer, it'll be darker, and not this weird, shiny, gross color. Also, I finished painting the rim on the outside of these, so that's pretty great.